Hello, it's Sonia here, the Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today it's Tuesday, and that means it's Tunisian Tuesday, where I feature either a Tunisian crochet project or technique or a stitch. And as you can see, I'm back to my original filming area because I have a guest in my filming room slash guest room. So we are going back to the original, and I see I have dog hair on my yarn. We're off to a great start here. Alright, so today we're featuring a Tunisian stitch pattern, and to do this stitch pattern you can see I've already made my chain. So you're going to need to chain a multiple of 6 and add 2. So 6 plus 2. So I chained 20 because 6 times 3 is 18, then you add 2 and that's 20. So for this stitch pattern we are going to work on row 1, and Tunisian crochet is always worked in 2 parts. So your first part of your row you are putting your stitches on, and then the second part of your row you're taking your stitches off, and that will count as 1 row. So let's begin row 1, and this is our setup row. So in our second chain from our hook we're going to work in that back bump, and we're going to pull up a loop, and we're going to continue to pull up loops all the way across. And if you've never done Tunisian crochet, I do have a whole playlist of Tunisian crochet, and in that playlist I have basics and getting started. So I can place a link for that playlist for you and you can check that out. Okay, so here are my loops. I have 20 loops on my hook, and the yarn I'm using is just worsted weight number 4 yarn. I do not know the brand. I got this yarn a while ago, or somebody gave it to me, and it's just some scrap yarn. And the hook I'm using is an I hook, or 5.5 millimeter hook, and as you can see I'm just using a regular straight crochet hook for this practice swatch. If you wanted to make this stitch pattern, like let's say you wanted to make a blanket, then obviously you would need either a Tunisian hook, a long one. They make long straight Tunisian hooks. I really don't like those that much. Or you could use a Tunisian hook with a cable on the end, and I prefer those. They're just, to me, they're a little bit more comfortable to use. So now we need to work off the second part of our row. We have to take these stitches off. So we're going to yarn over, and whatever amount you chained is the amount you're going to have on your hook too. So I chained 20, I have 20 loops on my hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2 for the rest of the row, and then row 1 will be complete. Okay, so here's my row 1 all done. So let's begin row 2. Row 2 will be the repeat for the rest of the pattern. So we are going to skip our first vertical bar and insert our hook in the next one, working in Tunisian simple. So if you are unfamiliar with Tunisian simple stitch, then I have that in that playlist. You can check that out. Alright, so we're going to go back in the one we skipped and work Tunisian simple. And then our next 2 stitches we're going to work Tunisian knit stitch. So again, if you are unfamiliar with Tunisian knit stitch, it is in that playlist. And we're going to repeat that across. So skip the next bar, work Tunisian simple in the next, and then go back in the one we skipped, again working Tunisian simple, and we're going to work our Tunisian knit stitch in the next 2. And we're just going to repeat this all the way across. Okay, so now I'm at the end of my row, so I always like to work a Tunisian knit stitch in that last stitch. It looks like a chain. You're going to insert your hook in the middle of that chain and pull up a loop. So the first half of row 2 is complete. So as I said before, Tunisians worked in 2 parts each row, so now we have to work these guys off. So you're going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2 for the rest of the row. Okay, so there we go. That is row 2. So what you'll do is repeat row 2 for however long you like your swatch, and then we will bind off these stitches. So it doesn't look like much now, but the stitch pattern will start to pop out. So I'm going to work a bunch more rows and I will meet you back. Okay, so as you can see, this is a curler of a stitch, but I do think it's a really nice stitch pattern. I really like it. Has lots of nice texture. So if you did want to incorporate this into a project, I do suggest, like let's say you wanted to make a blanket, having purl stitches as your border, and that would really help with the curling, because some Tunisian stitches are just notorious for curling, and this one is no exception. Alright, so let's bind these guys off. So what you're going to do is we're going to bind off in the stitch pattern. So we're going to skip that first bar, insert our hook in Tunisian simple, and work that off. So it's like you're working a slip stitch. You're going to go back in the bar we skipped in Tunisian simple, bind that off. So a good rule of thumb when you're binding off is you want to make sure you don't get your stitches too tight, because it is very easy to do that. So you just want to have a nice relaxed hand. So now we're going to work Tunisian knit and bind off. So we're just doing this across, working in our stitch pattern. So now I skip the next bar, work my bind off stitch, and again I do have a link, a video that goes over the bind off a little bit more in depth. Oops. And keep your loops on your hook. That is a very key tip. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row, so then my last stitch, going to work in that chain there and work the bind off there. And there you go. Let me spread this out so we can see the fun stitch pattern there. But I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.